So I wanted to address a few things with the Interstream app. People have had some questions about why do you have two different blooms? It doesn't seem like you can kind of use both at the same time. And there are reasons why we have two blooms. And one of them is really because of this new fluid mesh system. And it may not be as apparent at first. So I wanted to kind of do this kind of like insider masterclass on Interstream. Now, just to review, as you all know, when you have the input amplifier send your image to Interstream, and you want to just do a master bloom, it's just going to pause, right? Interstream works because we're creating an MPEG stream. So this is not optical flow, this is actual data moshing. And we're interrupting that stream in real time, which is why we're getting the data motion effect. And so if I say master bloom, it's like blooming out where things pause, right? And that is a pretty common feature to a lot of data moshing processes that are out there, except for we can do it live in real time. Now, if you're just doing blooming, right, there's no reason to do this other blooming because it's already blooming. However, the magic starts to happen when you go into fluid mosh, right? So remember, with fluid mosh mode, things are constantly moshing. And within that, we can master bloom inside of it, and now we have data moshing happening inside of data moshing, right? So it's constantly moshing, but it has part of that original bloom, right? We have these blooms that are constantly happening now within it, but now I can bloom inside of that bloom and pause it, but when I come back, I don't come back to a normal image. I come back right into that fluid mosh, which can get very interesting in a number of ways. Number one, you can bloom inside of an animate mosh as well. Okay, so remember, animate mosh, if we go back to the normal bloom, okay, animate mosh, we can put it into a direction. So I can move it anywhere along this pad, and it'll start moving in that direction. We can also zoom in while doing that, or zoom out while doing that as well. Okay. And if we fluid mosh with that animate, that's really cool. But if let's say I'm zooming out and I want to zoom in here, I want to animate mosh this together, we can get different directionalities happening and even time it out. But we're basing it on that mosh, that initial moshing state. And so when you start to combine these with everything else, we can actually kind of get our blooms, but go right back into that fluid mosh that we had started, right? And so if you start to time all these things out, depending on the frequency of things, you can create rhythms of different moshing, when it turns on, when it turns off, etc. So there's a lot to kind of appreciate with the different kinds of moshes that happen. Now, that moshing can also happen in Master Bloom 2, right? There's the bloom inside of it, and then it can pause it over here as well if you like that ergonomics a little bit better. But there's a lot of possibilities. And so really the idea of kind of moshing inside of mosh inside of moshing, all the different ways that you can do normal bloom, fluid mosh, and timed blooming or animated moshing within it, maybe some of those possibilities become really interesting, right? So I hope some of this is, informative for you and you get to kind of get a sense of all the different ways that these things can come together. And so what I hope that everyone comes out of this with is to always explore the boundaries of any app. If we include a feature and it may not be evident at first, try some of the different combinations. We try to make these apps as open as possible for enough exploration so it's not to be prescriptive. These are not presets. And we really embrace the idea of the forms that we find are of that moment. and you may not be able to find them again, but they're special because of that moment. So happy processing, and I hope to see you all here again soon.